As you get into the DES phase, it's complex environments, it's multiple sections, it's multiple targets, active threats, multiple ground scheme maneuvers, and that's kind of what Garner Rattler does. Especially for these guys are fresh out of schoolhouse. It sets that tone early of like, hey, you will be maneuvering with this ground force, you will be integrating fires, and there's a sense of realness here that because there's a live fire week at TCP, there's no maneuver. It's all inert bombs. Out here, we've got live guns, we've got live bombs going out on range, and it's kind of a wake-up call for these guys. Like, if I mess up right now, like, people's lives are at risk for sure. So joint operations, right? A lot of the times, I think, as JTACs, right, the J being joint, a lot of the assets we get on Camp Pendleton are Marine Corps assets. When we get out to this kind of exercise, or we get out on deployments and things like that and have opportunities to work with joint aircraft, there's different procedures, there's different kind of tactics and techniques that are utilized, and it's important as JTACs that we don't forget that we work in a joint environment. It's really easy to pigeonhole yourself like, I'm a Marine Corps controller, I know these assets, and there's so much knowledge out there in the joint world that you have to be cognizant of. You have to know these joint capabilities. You have to know what kind of assets you bring your ground force commander, because at the end of the day, as an 0861, as an 8002, you are servicing the ground force commander. That is your end product. You're at his hip. He's telling you what needs to get done. And if you don't know the capabilities of what's on station, instead of being an enabler, you end up just being what's the opposite of an enabler? I don't know. Instead of being an enabler, you become a hindrance. I think Garner Rattler is going to serve in a capacity to prepare us in the sense of, I think a lot of the previous wars we've had in the last 10, 15, 20 years, we built a lot of TTPs that at the time were very successful, but I think if we apply these to, the coming forces, whether they be CENTCOM, INDOPACOM, something like that, it could, if we don't get this kind of experience now, it could end up, costing us a lot. When we're implementing these new exercises, Garner Rattler to be one of them, we as a force have to practice new techniques. I think what a lot of the instructors have done really well here is kind of push us forward and push us to our limits and being like, hey, I know this is what's worked in the past. I understand that. However, we're going to start, focusing our threats and start focusing our enemy disposition towards what could be coming as opposed to what we've seen in the past. And as a JTAC specifically, when you're working in a near-peer environment, there's a lot of area denial that didn't exist in the past, right? And if you don't get this experience now, and the first time you do it is in country, you're going to get somebody killed.
We'll just do it without seeing her. I just want to slate the whole audio slate.
We'll get it. We'll get it.
Yeah.
All right. Tell me when you're rolling. Okay. Connie, can you give me your first and last name and title?
I'm Connie Stadler, and I'm a dietitian for Technology Incorporated.
Okay. All right. First of all, I want to start out. Tell me what your role is in nutrition for space.
I plan the menus for flight and for the pre-flight periods when the astronauts are in quarantine. And I help them if they are changing their menus around or selecting foods to move their menus.
Do you work with the astronauts? Do you get suggestions?
Well,
Do
we
they
find
come
out
in?
what kind of foods they we have a standard menu, and everybody gets the same menu. But if they have foods that they don't like that are in that menu, there is a pantry that's sent on board for each one of the flights, and they can add foods that they like in the pantry, and then they can change those foods with things that they don't like in the menu. And the pantry is sent up as a contingency food supply, so whenever they extend the mission a day or two, which has happened a couple of times now, then, do you want me to answer that?
Yeah. Might as well,
Would you not ring here anymore? Well, nobody's here, and they don't want you to ring in this room.
well, are they gonna just keep
She's
all the
going to
calls
put it,
out?
yeah,
Okay.
that's the secretary. She puts it.
Okay. Tell me when you're. Okay. Let's go through that one more time. You were
Okay.
talking about the pantry. They can supplement.
The pantry is sent up as a contingency food supply in case there's an extension of the mission or for any reason they're up longer than expected. But we use that as a usable contingency food supply. And the way we do that is if they want to send something up that they like better than something that's in the menu, then they can trade out. But we always tell them not to throw away anything that they trade out, because if they are extended, they may decide they like it better, well enough to eat anyway.